Hey, submates, I'm Nilansh from Pollen, and in my last video, I gave you an introduction to Lens modules, and in this one, I'm going to give you an overview of the NFT gated modules that have been developed for the Lens ecosystem. There are three parts to this. One is my own modules that I've built. Um, the second one is a pull request that I merged some time ago by Nizar for ERC1155, and the third one is based on a similar concept of NFT gating, but by a different person who has already created a PR, a pull request in the official Lens repository. And same concept, but the implementation is a bit different, so we'll cover that also. So yeah, as you know, there are three types of modules. There are follow modules, collect modules, and reference modules. And we're going to go with follow modules. So it has a different structure altogether. So let me just walk you through my modules. So I have three NFT gating modules. Like they're just variations. So one is single NFT gated. Basically, if you hold this one NFT, only then you can follow me. That's the logic behind it. Multiple and gated. Basically, you have to hold all of the NFTs that are set by the profile owner to be able to follow me. Multiple or gated, you have to hold at least one of the NFTs that are set in order to follow me, right? As simple as that. So let me just go through some of them. So my own modules, let's say this is the single NFT gated. It's the simplest one. uh, as you can see, in every follow module you have three hooks: initialize follow module, process follow, and follow module transfer hook. Initialize follow module is called when a new profile wants to set this as a profile, as a follow module, I mean. And they give you the address and the call data, which you can decode and then set here in this mapping I have. This mapping is from profile ID to the NFT address. So this one follow module will keep track of all the profile IDs and the NFT, the address they want to use for restricting follows, right? For NFT gating. So yeah, when you create when you set this as a follow module, you give the NFT address, and that will be set here. In the process follow and in the follow module transfer hook, we check the NFT ownership. In the process follow, does the user hold this NFT or not? And in the transfer hook, does the person who is being transferred to, who's going to hold the token now, the follow NFT now, does he have the same NFT or not? Because then you could have like one person could have the NFT and then he could just transfer the follow NFTs to somebody else. And yeah, that's not what we want, right? Set NFT if the owner wants to change the NFT. And this is the main function. It's a very simple function. You just check the NFT ownership. It takes two arguments, user and profile ID, depending on the circumstance. And here we just want to see if the user holds the NFT that is being set by this profile ID, because the user wants to follow this profile ID, right? Now this is not the convention using require, okay? So, but I'll come to that later. So first of all, we check if the address is not equal to 0, because if the NFT address is 0, it's going to fail. I mean, we don't want that. But we also want that if the profile ID sets the NFT address as 0, it basically means anybody should be allowed to follow them, right? And here we're just checking if the balance of the user is greater than 0, otherwise this insufficient NFT balance. But this is not the best way to do this. I'll tell you why. This was my initial approach, but then I learned about some of the conventions on the Lens protocol modules. So let me just give you an example through the multiple and gated module, right? So here, the main difference you can see from single NFT gated to multiple is that there is, instead of a single address, we have an array of addresses, right? So the follow module initialization remains the same. Instead of one address, we are taking multiple addresses. We are checking NFT ownership here also. We're also getting the NFT. This could be useful in front ends, I would say. When you want to get the list of all the NFTs, because here it's an array and inside of a mapping, so it's not easy to get it. Here you can just get the one address, but it will not be easy here. Uh, Set NFTs like before. Now, the major changes in checking the NFT ownership, because now we have to run a loop, right? So, and this is where I will tell you about the require versus revert kind of convention that Lens follows. So here again, we are checking the length of the array is not equal to 0. Then we are just looping over all of them and checking if the balance of the user is greater than 0 or not, right? And then we're reverting, right? If it's 0, then we're reverting with errors dot insufficient balance. Now, where is this coming from? Now, why are we using this instead of require? So the main thing is that Lens protocol has this list of this library error, which is a list of errors that you can use. So clearly defines that if you encounter any error in any of the modules or in the core of the lens protocol, it will be here. And accompanying this is also this errors.ts, where you can kind of describe the errors also if you want. You should actually, not if you want, just so yeah. Here are module errors. So you can see I added this one, errors.insufficient balance, and there is insufficient allowance. There should be insufficient balance also somewhere. Yeah, here. Yeah. So that's what. So this is the convention. Like you have to define your errors here and then just revert with them. So the logic will be reversed as compared to the require. But yeah, that is what would happen. And the so that is my module. Now the second thing I want to talk about is the module by Nizar, and this is a very good module because what my module covers is only ERC 721 NFTs. What he has done is single ERC 1155 gated follow modules. But as you know, like the difference in ERC 1155 is that anybody can hold, like for one NFT ID you can have multiple owners, right? So uh, what we want to check is not just ownership of that NFT ID. We want to check that the balance of that NFT is more than zero or not. So basically, you would a single array of addresses will not work here. So that's why Nizar has created a struct which will hold the token address, the token ID, and the minimum amount that has to be had. And is it transferable? That is a very good touch here. Like maybe you don't want the follow NFT to be transferable at all, so you can just block it, because we have this transfer hook. So here they're checking that, okay, if the transferable is false, then you can just revert with this error, right? And then the same concept applies. Yeah, like you're just initializing the follow module with the config that the profile owner has set, and then you're checking the NFT ownership at process follow and the follow module transfer hook. And this is for updating the config. And here again you just check, this is a single NFT, single ERC 1155, so you don't have to have a loop here. But if it was multiple, you will have a loop. But yeah, you can just basically check the balance of user for this token ID is great. If it's less than the minimum amount, then you revert with the insufficient balance error. So yeah, as you can see, like I introduced this insufficient balance error before here, and it's being reused here. And if you were to write the description for it, you can just say insufficient amount of tokens, and it can be used at anywhere. And if you want to be more specific, maybe we can have insufficient NFT balance. But this is to be discussed with the Lens core team itself. Like, what do they think about this? What should the convention be going ahead? And the last one, not going to go too deep into this, but this has already been proposed. It's an NFT gated follow module, kind of like mine. It's 721, I think, and it uses structs, but you can see it uses numerable sets to hold the array of whitelisted IDs, and it does a lot of the same things. But what I feel here is you don't necessarily need structs for this exact type of module. This single ERC 721 or multiple and ERC 721. I think the addresses work fine, but obviously every approach has its merits, and you're welcome to try out whatever works best for you. And yeah, just revert with errors. All of this guy has done. um yeah, that's basically an overview, and I'm curious to find out what the Lens team will think is the better approach, like this using structs for everything, or will using arrays be a better approach. Like, I don't know yet. But I do want to know, because I do want to get my modules whitelisted. I want to help others get their modules whitelisted, like help with the best practices and all that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. Like, this was just a, like I'll give an overview of other modules if necessary. And yeah, I think that is about it. If you have any questions, just let me know. And if you have any idea for a module, you can propose to me. We can together um, figure it out. Like, yeah, what works best, what does not, and then we can propose it to Lens. Yeah. So yeah, that is kind of it. See ya.